Okay, I want to talk to you about the Topic 5 project trip to Italy and just go over what answers we were looking for, what some expectations were that we had, and let you kind of see if you missed some points, why you might have missed them. So it says, imagine you just began your sophomore year in high school. I know, seems forever away, doesn't it? And recently heard about an opportunity to visit historic Italy for 8 days that following summer for $3,000. So 8 days, $3,000. At first you brush it off as too expensive, plus you don't know how much about Italy, except that they probably make some pretty solid pizza and used to hold chariot races or something like that. But after talking to your friends at lunch, you realize that with a bit of hard work and planning, you and your friends could take this trip of a lifetime to one of the coolest places on earth. Andiamo! So we are saving money for the trip, and so we're going to complete the following table in order to calculate earnings and expenses as you work to save towards your $3,000 goal. The first row is completed for you as an example of what to do. So the first one says your savings account at the bank has a beginning balance of $750. Then you deposit $75 that you had in your dinosaur bank at home. So here is the $750 you have, so that's positive, and then you're adding in another $75, so you have a total of $825. So this is what you're adding in, and then this becomes your running total over here, kind of like a checkbook. So if you're not sure about a checkbook, you can ask your parents what that looks like. Happy birthday, you receive $150 from your grandparents, $40 from your aunt, $35 from your uncle, and $45 from your first cousin, and $30 from your second cousin. So these are all positive things that you're taking in. And when I add those up, I get the $300. When I add the $825 plus the $300, I'm now up to, I have saved $1,125. Next one says, oops, you thought you were rich for 5 seconds, so you took 2 of your friends to lunch with you and paid the entire bill. Each of you were charged $25. Well, if you're charged money, that's a negative. And there were 3 of you because it's you and 2 friends, so that's a total of $75 that you spent. So you would subtract that from what you had in your account, and now you're down to $1,050. So you decide to rake leaves for 9 different neighbors. 6 of them pay you $20 each. The other 3 pay you $15. But you also had to buy a rake that cost $15. So 6 of them pay you $20. That's this part right here. And then 3 of them pay you $15. But then when you buy that rake, that's the negative $15, or the subtracting 15. So you'd get $120 plus 45 minus 15. And you end up with making $150. Well, when you add that into your account, you're up to $1,200 saved. And it says then you and your 3 friends that are planning to go with you to Italy organize a fundraiser. So you and 3 friends, so we're talking 4 people. And the fundraiser brings in $1,200. So I need to do $1,200 divided by the number of people I'm sharing it with, which is 4. So you each get $300. Add that to the amount that you had, and you end up with $1,500. Happy holidays run too. Your grandparents loved Italy when they went, so they generously gift you $50 less than twice as much as $250. So $50 less than twice as much as $250. So that's $500 minus 50, which gives you $450. So when you add that in, you're now up to $1,950. Happier holidays, a time for giving. You make a withdrawal of $75 from the bank to pay for some gifts. However, you soon realize how expensive gifts can be. You go back to the bank to make another withdrawal for the same amount as your last one. So you withdrew $75, then you withdrew another $75. So I can think of that as adding those together, or 2 times that amount. And that's $150 that you took out. So now you're down to $1,800. It says, at this point, you probably realize you've earned over 50% of your $3,000 goal. Well, 50% of $3,000 is $1,500, and you've got $1,800, or $1,800, so you're definitely over that halfway point. But you still need to earn quite a bit more money. So it says, let's assume you find a job that pays $10 per hour, and you plan to work 3 hours each Saturday and 3 hours each Sunday. And then it starts talking about weekends. Well, weekend is Saturday and Sunday. So if I'm working 3 hours both days, that's a total of 6 hours per weekend. How many weekends must you work between January and June in order to earn the rest of the money you need? So I've got $3,000 that I need to get. I have $1,800. So that means I have $1,200 left to earn. Well, $10 per hour times 3 hours. So that's just Saturday or just Sunday, but I've got 2 of those. So I end up with 60 there. So this is 30, but I'm doing it Saturday and Sunday, so 60. So if I do this divided by 60, that'll tell me how many weekends I need to work. And I figure out I need to work 20 weekends in order to make it to what I'm trying to earn. So at this point, it says, you've earned that money. Now you're going on your trip. We're on part 2. It says, from the discovery of Rome to your breathtaking Amalfi Coast, this entire tour encompasses some of the most beautiful and famous parts of Italy. The forgotten city of Pompeii, the oldest operating opera house in the world, the spectacular Boo Grotto, and more will be explored. So it says, calculate your spending cash. You were told the trip cost $3,000, and that is what you have saved up. This price covers your airfare, the travel package once you were in Italy, and this was a link. And if you go to that link, you find out that the travel package is this amount of dollars right there. So once I pay this and my airfare, and then it tells me down here that airfare is going to be this much. So if this is how much I spent on the travel package plus my airfare, I find out that I have spent so far $2,633, which leaves me with $367 for spending cash. And the travel package is like all your big meals and things like that, but there's some other things that you kind of plan on along the way that you might do that you're going to have that $367 as spending cash to do. So when you get over there, you're going to take your $367 and you need to turn it into euros. Because it says once you arrive in Italy, you need to exchange US dollars for euros. The current exchange rate when we made this project was €1 is $1.04. So my $1.04, when I go back this way, you notice this is less. 1 is less than $1.04. So I'm losing 4 cents every time I convert it to a euro. And when I do that, I get $367, converts to $352.88 euros. Now to get that number, if I have $367, I need to divide by 1.04 to get there. That means I would need to divide by 1.04, and that is how I get my $352.88. So that's how we came up with that number. Now once I'm in Rome, it says I go to dinner. This is my appetizer right here. The aubergine pie was $9, and this is my lamb right here was $18. So, euros. So I've spent 27 euros, and then it says I want to leave a 20% tip. So I'm going to find 20% of 27, which is $5.40, which means that when I add those together, and I get my total for my dinner. My total bill would be $27 plus $5.40. So $32.40 for my total bill for dinner. And I subtract those from the amount of euros that I had, and this is how many euros I have left at this time to spend now. Then it goes on to talk about Rome, and it says, find out what year Rome was founded. Rome was founded in 753 BC. On our old key here was 2018. Obviously, it would be now 2019. And so Rome is another year older. And so hopefully you found that Rome is 2,772 years old. It talks about Mount Vesuvius. And when did that happen? How many years has it been since Mount Vesuvius erupted? Well, it erupted in 79 AD. AD is on our side of the timeline there. This is looked at as like a negative, so that's why we end up working with it that way. So this is and then I would be subtracting, and I would be adding a negative, so I end up adding those two together here. Over here I just subtract, and when I subtract, I'm actually going to get Rome as 1,940 years old. Heading on to Capri, and in Capri, I'm hiking from the sea, and I climbed to 210 feet above sea level, which is a positive 210. And then you forget your sunglasses, so you go all the way back down. And after walking down to get them, you finally make it all the way to the summit. So I went up, I went down, I went up again for a total of, I climbed a total of 1,009 meters overall, because I went up, I went down to get my sunglasses, and then I went all the way back up to the top. And then it says, after doing that, I want to go to the Piazza Vittoria, which is located 7 meters above sea level. And it says the ride takes 12 minutes. So I don't have to go back down to sea level. That would be 589 meters down. I have to go 7 less. So I end up with 582 meters divided by 12. And it will take 48.5 meters per minute to get there. So that's how fast I'm traveling, 48.5 meters per minute. Then it says how fast am I going in meters per second. So I'm going to take this right here and I'm going to divide it. So this gives me the 48.5, and that is in minutes. So I'm going to divide it by 60 and find out how far I'm traveling per second. Then it starts talking about buying ice cream. Well, we find out that ice cream typically served at 8 degrees and gelato served at 16. So when I go to convert my degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius over here, I'm going to do 8 minus 32 times 5/9. So it's negative 13.3 degrees. When I convert my gelato, I find it's negative 8.9 degrees. And when I'm looking for what is the difference in the temperatures there, you might notice I'm subtracting a negative. So I'm going to end up actually subtracting those two numbers because one's negative, one's positive, and I find out that there's 4 degrees Celsius between the temperature that they are kept at in Celsius, whereas there's an 8 degrees temperature difference in Fahrenheit. Then we made some, woke up with gelato all over your face and clothes. Apparently you had a pretty good time, and so you spent quite a few years in the process. You find receipts in your pocket from the gelato purchase, but you think the ink must have rubbed off, so you can't read the total bill. Fortunately, remember that the gelato shop will have a sale for 10% off your entire purchase. Find the total cost in euros of your bill after the 10% discount. So first I have to add them all up, and then I multiply it times 0.10 or 10%, and I find out that it was a $1.35 discount, which means that my total bill was $13.50 times 10%. Now when I go to calculate my total bill, that's how much the original bill was, and then there's my discount. So I end up only paying $12.15 at the gelato shop for all the different flavors that I got there. Tiny mint chip would totally be my favorite. Then it says no trip to Rome is complete without a visit to Fontana di Trevi, the Trevi Fountain. And there's a lot more videos behind the famous fountain. So it's saying if I click here to read the 9 things, and it says find out how many euros they say are thrown into the Fontina every day. If you had that many euros, would you have enough US dollars for another trip back to Rome? If so, how many US dollars would you have? So 3,000 euros times 0.14, and you find out that's $3,120. So this is how much is in there per day in euros, and then I have to convert it back to dollars to see if I have enough, and I do. Last question says you're traveling home. It's about 5,000 miles. You leave it on a jet plane that can travel 435 miles per hour. So when I divide the 5,000 miles by going 435 miles per hour, it's going to take 11.5 hours to get back to Cincinnati. Let me know if after looking over this you still have any questions, or if you think something was marked incorrect or you didn't get points and you think you should have gotten them.